maybe next year since 1957. Now, talk about this man. Let's talk about this man. Can this man do anything right? Davante Adams. Davante Adams got traded to the New York Jets mid-season, ended up playing 10 games for the New York Football Jets, ended up getting a 1,000-yard season along with 8 touchdowns in the 2024 NFL season. However, he did have like a $34 million contract incentive bonus on for 2025 and 2026. Ultimately, Davante Adams has been cut by the New York Football Jets. Who picks him up? Is there a market out there for Davante Adams? Is there a team out there that is going to make a play for Davante Adams? Guys, Davante Adams is a pretty good receiver. He's a damn good receiver. He had another 1,000-yard season last season. He now has 5 1,000-yard seasons in a row and 6 of 7 in 2019, where he only played 12 games, but he still had 997 yards. So easily could have been 7 in a row. Adams did sign a 5-year, $140 million deal back in 2022 for the Las Vegas Raiders with the average salary of $28 million. Now, I'm not saying he is in his prime. I'm not saying he's a top 10 receiver. I'm not saying he's a top 20 receiver. Hell, he may not even be top 30. But Davante Adams is still a pretty good receiver. Davante Adams can still go to a team and put them up over the edge. He can go to the Pittsburgh Steelers and put them up over the edge. He can go to the Washington Commanders and put them up over the edge. Or the Broncos, or the Chargers, or, do I dare say it, back to the Green Bay Packers? Guys, there are many teams out there that can really use the services of a Davante Adams. The real question is, the real deal is he going to understand that he is not the number 1 receiver on those said teams? That he is not maybe even the number 2 receiver on those said teams. I don't see him going to the Broncos and the Chargers and accepting a lesser role. I can see him going to the Steelers and accepting a lesser role to George Pickens. I can see him going to the Commanders and accepting a lesser role behind Scary Terry. I can see him going to the Packers and demanding to be a number 1 guy. So, guys, when I look at Davante Adams, Steelers, Commanders, Broncos, Chargers, Packers, all make sense. But you know who makes the most sense? You know who makes the most sense out of every team out there? Let me be clear. It is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs make perfect sense for Davante Adams. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be they're going to be a team right now where old receivers, where old running backs, where old linemen that still have service left in them go ring chasing. They are the New England Patriots. DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent. Will he be back? Probably not. Juju is a free agent. Will he be back? Probably not. Sky Moore probably might be kicked to the curb as well. Consistently injured, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But Cole Hardman, probably gone. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs do have their core receivers, right? They have Rashid Rice. They have Xavier Worthy. But beyond that, they need a 3. They need a 4. A player like Davante Adams would be a perfect number 2 receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Think about this. Just hypothetically speaking. Rashid Rice is back, number 1 receiver. Davante Adams is the number 2 receiver. You bring back DeAndre Hopkins as your number 4 receiver. Still got Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce is coming back for his 13th season of the NFL. Guys, all of a sudden, 2018 Kansas City Chiefs might be back. All of a sudden, the 2017 Kansas City Chiefs might be back. 2019 Kansas City Chiefs might be back. Slow it down, baby. If Davante Adams goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, it is lights out. Raiders, you guys are done. Broncos, you guys are done. Chargers, you guys are done. Steelers, anybody in the AFC is done. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go back to the Super Bowl, but I'm saying like another 14, 15 win season is not out of reach. So, guys, when you hear the name Davante Adams, free agent, where do you think he goes? I think 5 or 6 teams make perfect sense. Steelers, Commanders, Broncos, Chargers, Packers, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm saying he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Homerness in me? Probably. Maybe. Who knows? Yes, 100%. But guys, where do you think he goes? John says Davante to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Davante Adams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might have some room. Let's look up their roster right now. I know Chris Godwin is a free agent. We'll be talking about Chris Godwin coming up here soon, right? Mike Evans isn't going anywhere. Then you got Jalen Macklin, Sterling Shepard, Ryan Miller, Trey Palmer. Yes, please. Yes, please. Like Davante Adams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, team him up with Mike Evans, and then bring back Chris Godwin. Slow it down, baby. And then the man, the myth, the legend himself, Baker freaking Mayfield, baby. Let's go. Ooh, John, I know you are a Detroit Lions fan. I know you bleed that Hawaiian blue. But you better not hope that Davante Adams goes down there to Tampa. You best hope that you don't have to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs because with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Davante Adams, pending Chris Godwin comes back. That's scary. Plus Cade Otton. That man came out of nowhere last season. There you go. Cushmaster says Davante to Kansas City would be a good fit. Listen, I want to say back in 2022, there was talks. There was the negotiation of like, hey, Davante Adams to Kansas City, even back in 2022, just 3 or 4 years ago, right? We were talking about that. Granted, it did not work out. He signed a massive deal with at the time, the Oakland Raiders, and then the Las Vegas Raiders, and then the Los Angeles Raiders, and then the Vegas Raiders. But hey, he got his money. Now come play for a ring, right? Old Man River says, but Buck, you talk about Rashid Rice. You talk about Xavier Worthy. You talk about Travis Kelce. You talk about the rest of the roster, but the Kansas City Chiefs suck. Slow it down, Old Man River. They don't suck. They just had a bad game. They had a bad game, my man. Slow it down. John says Rice, Worthy, Davante Adams would be nuts. Listen, it would be pretty nice. It would be pretty darn nice, right? Because if you think about this, the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs roster, they still have Hollywood Brown. We didn't see him at all last season because he hurt his AC joint in the preseason game versus Miami. I believe it was the second play of the game. Saw him a little bit in the playoffs and like a little bit what he could be. But I forgot about Hollywood Brown. Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy, Davante Adams, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. Slow it down, baby. Would be nice. John says, hey, you know what? I am a Detroit Lions fan. And I would be scared of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Davante Adams with Tampa Bay Buccaneers still makes sense. I think you're right, man. I think you're right. Dion Bryan says Dallas Cowboys. Dion, listen, man. The Dallas Cowboys are going to need a receiver. Brandon Cooks is probably going to be walking. Turpin's probably going to be walking. Who else do they got? When you look at the Dallas Cowboys roster, legitimately, who do they got? Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo. He's going to get cut. It makes sense. Old Man River says, whoa. Let's not be Captain Obvious here, but San Francisco. San Francisco 49ers make sense. No, it doesn't to me. Because Brandon Ayuk just signed that big deal. Ricky Pearsall had a hell of a rookie season. Jawan Jennings is still the man, the myth, the legend, right? They still got George Kittle. They still got Jacob Coing. All right. They still got Chris Coonley, Trent Taylor. I don't foresee them going after a receiver unless it's in the draft, right? Unless it's in the draft.